Things have gotten so much worse for the crypto millionaire who sued me a few years ago, as he's now just lost a $2.8 million defamation lawsuit. And it seems like he's the prime example of you really get the energy that you put back out into the world. Like, dude's been a scumbag for years, and it's really catching up to him. And if you don't know who this guy is, yeah, I feel like this is kind of like walking into a theater halfway through the 9th movie of Star Wars when you know nothing about the series. Because it's safe to say, a lot's happened.
Do I have your attention now? Do I have it?
But Bitboy Crypto used to be the largest crypto channel. He showed a whole bunch of tokens to his fans, and a whole bunch of them went to zero. A lot of these were not disclosed as paid promotions, but, you know, during this time, Ben was essentially at the top of the crypto world. His channel was pulling in millions of views. His YouTube ad revenue along was bringing in like 40 grand a month. But also, on top of everything, the income of his paid promotions was leaked. And then we found out that he was charging $40,000 for a YouTube feature, $20,000 for a single tweet, and $10,000 to mention something in a Telegram group. And not too long after that, I ended up calling him a scumbag publicly, showing a bunch of projects that completely failed after he promoted them, saying there's no way they could go down or go to zero. So he decided to sue me.
So I just got some stuff for you.
Oh, what is it?
I don't know. It's just a box.
I don't need it.
Well, you've been served early.
What are you doing? So yeah, I have officially been sued. I then raised a whole bunch of money from you guys in the crypto community to fight him in court. It's actually so insane, but we raised over 200 grand in something like 24 hours. So he then dropped the lawsuit because I guess he realized this wasn't going to financially damage me as much as he thought so. So I then refunded everyone who donated because there is no longer a lawsuit to pay for, and I barely had any cost from this. So I refunded everyone because you guys bailed me out. Thank you guys so much for helping me call out scammers. You know, ape strong together, or whatever they say. Because there was a second there where I thought me making this video on him was going to cost me some years of income. But from there, he promoted project after project, Distex, Hex, SafeMoon, his own Ben token, and then a large portion of them either, you know, imploded or got tagged as scams somewhere down the line. But in August of 2023, his own company removed him from the Bitboy brand entirely. Hit Network cited substance abuse, erratic behavior, and money problems coming from Ben. And days after that, he live streamed himself pulling up to his former colleague's house, demanding his Lamborghini back, and then gets arrested on camera while thousands of people watch live. And then we also found out that he was with his mistress, who just like a week or two before this incident, he made an entire apology video with his now ex-wife sitting beside him going, "I'm sorry for cheating, I'm never gonna cheat again." Yeah, it was really bad. This is like hands down one of the craziest live streams that have ever gone down on youtube.com. And then on top of that, apparently the Lambo might have never been his to begin with.
This is where Carlos lives, guys. I am live streaming from Carlos's house. Carlos has my Lamborghini right here in his garage. I'm gonna be live streaming, and I'm gonna be telling the entire story of Carlos Diaz, who Carlos Diaz is. I'm going to be talking about all the people he's affiliated with. I'm going to be talking about how he got into my building. I'm going to talk about all of it. I'm not scared of you, Carlos. Sorry, I reached too fast. I'm sorry. Sorry. Okay.
Put your phone down.
Okay.
Put the phone down.
Okay. I'll put the phone down. Okay.
Put the phone.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Put the phone down.
Put the fanny pack down.
Okay.
What's going on?
What's going on? This man inside of this house.
Actually, he's gonna check you real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just the weapons.
I'm sorry. I have a. Okay. Yep. No weapons.
But in 2024, regulators at the CFTC opened a formal investigation into 15 projects that he promoted over the years. And last year, as I covered in my last video, he had a full legal and mental breakdown. He fired his attorneys and decided to handle his own court cases, which led to him sending threatening messages to a sitting judge in Georgia. He gets picked up in Florida on a warrant tied to those messages, spends 106 days in jail, and then gets arrested a second time back in Georgia on charges involving harassing phone calls. So I mean, this is just a brutal look, but this is the situation as it stands right now. Ben Armstrong has completely disappeared from the internet. His last live stream on his Bitboy X channel was on December 19th, and after that, every single platform just went dark. No videos, no tweets, no streams. The guy used to go live like 5 times a week. Now it's been complete radio silence since then. And I guess given everything that was happening around at the time, it's safe to say that the timing of that disappearance was not really a coincidence. And that's where we arrive at February 2026, when the Kevin O'Leary lawsuit comes to its conclusion. So I also brought up the Kevin O'Leary lawsuit at the end of my last video. but the case wasn't fully closed yet. Now, it is. So I'll just walk through the whole thing from the top. In March of 2025, Ben spent roughly a week on Twitter going after Kevin O'Leary, you know, the guy from Shark Tank, and accusing him of essentially ending someone's life. And the basis of all of this was, I guess, a boating accident that happened back in 2019, where O'Leary, his wife, and some others were on a boat that collided with another one in the dark, and 2 people aboard the other vessel ended up passing away. And what the legal record says happened is that Kevin O'Leary was a passenger. He wasn't anywhere near the controls. And he was also never investigated nor charged. His wife Linda was the one who was charged with careless operation of a vessel. But after a full 13-day trial, she was acquitted, as the court found that the other boat had been running with no lights on. However, none of that mattered to Ben, as he just made post after post claiming that O'Leary had paid millions of dollars to keep the whole thing quiet. And when that wasn't enough, he took it further and posted O'Leary's personal cell phone number publicly, telling his followers to call Kevin O'Leary because he was someone who's involved in a real-life murder. That's crazy. So O'Leary testified that he had to block over 100 numbers from strangers, couldn't just switch to a new phone number because of how many legitimate contacts already had his old one, and he had to restructure his day-to-day security arrangements with different routes, different studio entrances, and then on top of that, spending $200,000 more a year in security costs. So O'Leary filed a suit on March 26, 2025, and Ben was personally served 2 days later on the 28th, and his window to respond closed on April 18th. And unfortunately, yeah, they just didn't hear a response from Ben whatsoever. This is really reminding me of the entire TikTok psychic lawsuit. But the court then extended the deadline to May 2nd after Ben wrote in saying that he was in jail in Georgia. But that date also passed without a response from him. So as a result, a default was formally entered against him on May 6th. So then, a damage hearing was scheduled for October 30th, 2025. Ben was notified, but he also didn't appear. And then he made one last effort to unwind the whole situation, arguing that being incarcerated and managing serious mental health issues had made it impossible for him to engage with the case. So the court went through the timeline. Essentially, there was a whole year of Ben receiving notice after notice and him doing absolutely nothing about it. And then you have, you know, Kevin O'Leary's reputation at stake. He's being called a murderer and being harassed. So, like, if nothing happened, what's gonna happen to Kevin? It's just not fair, which is why you don't point at someone and go, oh, that person killed someone. So on February 13, 2026, Judge Beth Bloom out of the Southern District of Florida made it official. Ben Armstrong owed Kevin O'Leary $2.8 million. And the breakdown works out to about $750,000 in emotional distress damages, $78,000 in reputational harm, and $2 million in punitive damages. And once again, Bitboy was not present for any of that. Now, how did it actually get to this point? Like, that's what I keep asking myself, because how did he go from essentially the biggest crypto YouTube channel making millions upon millions of dollars a year to now being completely broke and now in massive debt because he owes Kevin O'Leary $2.8 million. This just goes to show you have to stay clear from substances. You have to take care of your mental health. And you can't be an absolute scumbag to innocent people, because clearly, the world has a way of returning its energy. It seems like what comes around goes around. And unfortunately, what many people are saying is it just seems like Ben couldn't engage with the lawsuit in any meaningful way because he just isn't operating at a functional level right now. And I agree with it. It's really sad to see. I am honestly not amused whatsoever by this outcome, because despite him trying to literally destroy my life for calling him out for being a scammer, I still wouldn't wish this upon anyone. Like, the outcome of his personal life situation, he absolutely deserved being backhanded for calling someone a murderer when there's zero real proof that they murdered anyone. And I also wanted to address something from my last video. I said that Ben was potentially facing up to 15 years in prison based on the threats that he made towards the judge. And at the time, that was where things appeared to be heading. But I also said in a side note that the court might actually decide that he wasn't mentally competent when he made those threats. Now, apparently, that second scenario seemed to be closer to what actually happened, as there doesn't appear to be an active case around the judge threats anymore. But there are still unresolved legal issues in his life, the harassment charges that are still active that seem to be centering TJ Shed, one of his previous business partners. But as of right now, he's not facing 15 years in prison anymore. But regardless, that doesn't change the fact that he now legally owes a dude $2.8 million. So if there's a lesson from this, don't be a scumbag and don't accuse random people of committing murder when there's zero proof. Whether he pays it or not, that'll be interesting to see though. But yeah, that's the story. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe, drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace.